life behind bars.
Stephanie Stanton, thank you for that reporting there on the ground. Let's turn now to our legal panel. Charles Coleman, civil rights attorney and former New York prosecutor, and Cynthia Oxney, former federal prosecutor and an MSNBC legal analyst. I want to start with talking about that precedent that many worry the Rittenhouse verdict could set. Let's listen to what MSNBC's Reverend Al Sharpton said yesterday.
Now we're being told that someone can cross state lines with a semi-automatic rifle and kill people and say it's self-defense, and they have this case to cite as saying that I'm like Rittenhouse. Let's remember, Rittenhouse is now being offered internships by members of Congress, like he's some hero.
Charles, do you think he's right, and could we see future examples of so-called vigilante justice?
Good morning, Lindsay. I do think that there is a concern about how this plays out with regard to future periods of racial unrest in the United States. I think we have to be honest about the fact that we are not done with the type of protest that led to Kyle Rittenhouse being where he was that night in Kenosha, Wisconsin on August 25th. And I think that we have to consider how we unpack the Rittenhouse verdict has serious implications. Reverend Al is correct. This could set a precedent that enables, if not emboldens, people to begin to come to protest because they do not like protesters or they do not like the reason that they are protesting, and decide that they are going to enact vigilante justice in their own way and claim on the back end, oh, it was self-defense. I felt threatened. I felt like my life was in danger. I don't necessarily know that it will apply in every situation, of course, but I definitely think that there are those who are looking at this verdict and watching the conversation that ensues and seeing whether there may be an opening for them to get into their own mischief if they so desire because of what happened to Kyle Rittenhouse.
Cynthia, I want to play for you something that the judge said that is making headlines this morning. Take a listen.
I will tell you this. I'm going to think long and hard about live television of a trial again next time. I don't know. I've always been a firm believer in it because I think the people should be able to see what's going on. But when I see what's being done, it's really quite frightening.
So talk to me about this. How would you say race, the presence of television cameras inside the courtroom, and this particular judge's antics may have played into the jury's final outcome?
I mean, I don't think this judge was a very good judge. I haven't hidden that. But can I tell you what? There are judges like this all over the country. And I've certainly been in front of judges like this, and they act like this with a camera or without a camera. So I don't think the cameras made that big of a difference. It seemed to me that the lawyers stayed pretty focused on the case in front of them. And my understanding is this is the way the judge behaves without cameras. So I don't think the cameras were a factor. Now, the judge was a factor because the instructions were so terrible and confusing, and he had many other issues. But recognize the case had problems, too. I mean, this is a case where the first victim got on a stand and said he had a gun and he pointed it at Rittenhouse. I mean, that's devastating if you're trying a case. And this is also a case where the prosecutor had an opening statement with one theory of the case and a closing statement with a different theory of the case. That's devastating. And while the instructions were bad and confusing, the case had a lot of problems, not to mention the fact they had to overcome beyond a reasonable doubt the self-defense instructions. So I'm not sure this case is as instructive as people are taking it to be because it had so many problems. But I do agree that it's going to lead to vigilantism. Maybe not even on one side, maybe on both sides.
Charles, the criminal case is over, but could Rittenhouse still face anything civilly, any civil penalties?
He could. I don't know how likely it is, but it is very possible. I think that the outcome of this criminal case certainly gives the chance of a civil case some degree of difficulty in terms of being able to get a liable or liability verdict in civil court. But it's important that viewers understand that the standard for a civil case is much lower in terms of the standard of proof than it is for a criminal case. A criminal case requires that it is beyond a reasonable doubt, whereas a civil case requires that it is beyond a preponderance of the evidence, which is basically 50.00001% of being able to prove or establish liability. So with a lower bar, perhaps it may be that plaintiffs decide that they want to try to sue for wrongful death or some other sort of injury and make Kyle Rittenhouse responsible. But that remains to be seen at this point.
And Cynthia, I got to be really quick here and talk about the Ahmaud Arbery trial that's taking place. A closing argument set for tomorrow. This really has been a much different case, hasn't it?
Right. Right. And I feel like this case and the Charlottesville case can give us some hope that there really is justice in America. I'm going to be shocked if we don't see better verdicts. Look, just for our viewers, look on Monday to see whether or not the defendants start to point at each other. I'm guessing that Roddy Bryan may be starting to point at the other two. And my experience is when defendants start doing that, everybody goes down. So they certainly deserve to. I'm hoping for a quick guilty.
Cynthia Oxney, Charles Coleman, thank you both so much for your time today.
A bit of programming note, the mother of Ahmaud Arbery and the father of Jacob Blake will join Reverend Al Sharpton live on Politics Nation today at